lot of efforts. Kalpana Sathe madam put lot of efforts. Kiran Taulare also put lot of efforts. Kishore Patwardhan was also there with this team, and many other people who are subject expert whose names are not here. They were there. They put their efforts, and many new suggestions came for this. And now I think for the first time, the syllabus or the curriculum for this subject will be of at least more than 60 pages, I think. So in such a detailed description of the topics and subtopics and all other things are given in that. The major change in the Ayurveda education is we have changed the proportion of didactic teaching to what you call this experimental learning, or what the word you use normally?
Activity based learning.
Activity based learning. Activity based learning. This activity based learning is non-lectures, and the didactic teaching or classroom teaching is lectures. So the proportion to lectures to non-lecture is 1:2. That is what we accepted principally, and we tried to follow it. But sometimes you will find that it could be little bit less than 2, 1.5, 1.7 like that. But we tried our best to put it not less than 1.5. So that fluctuation as per requirement of the subject and the teaching pattern, etc., etc. So that is the major change. Another major change in the education is the introduction of electives. So that also uh, you must be aware about that. And we want to look at Ayurveda education afresh, and the points to be incorporated as modern advances, etc., etc. So two more things are there. We tried to define Ashtanga Ayurveda. So, and it is now a part of the regulation. And other thing is methodology for supplementing Ashtanga Ayurveda by modern science and technology is also written. So, which was not there previously. So, this is happening for the first time, and there is a provision in that for removing the outdated things also. We are not talking about only adding new things. And after how many years that will become the part of Ayurveda, that also we have mentioned. So with due experience, we will learn from that. We will learn, and then we will find out how to change the time duration or not. But hereafter, the part which we are going to include in our curriculum will become the part of Ayurveda. And after 5 years, that part we will not consider it as a modern, because we will try to digest it in our system. And after that full digestion, the other advances in that field we will try to incorporate as and when required. So these are the major things. And my humble request to all learned people is, don't consider the fixation of teacher's salary as a change in education. That अदरवाइज आप लोगों को ऐसा लगेगा कि इन लोगों ने टीचरों के पगार निश्चित किए, यही बहुत बड़ा एजुकेशन में का चेंज है. दिस इज नॉट रिलेटेड टू एजुकेशन. दिस इज फॉर एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पर्पस. This is for protecting the rights of the teacher. This is for creating ecosystem for the betterment of the education. But this is not the basic change in education. Please try to understand and look at other things as change in education. And we always welcome the inputs from you, because you have to implement this at the ground level. And the success of all these, 5 साल के बाद जब इसका असेसमेंट किया जाएगा, तो सक्सेस ऑफ ऑल दिस इज हाउ you take this to a last person who is a student. That is the most important thing. So we are developing a student feedback system also. Previously also in 2019, we conducted a student survey. What they expect from this Ayurveda education? We asked them. And with the help of social scientists, we created a questionnaire of nearly 52 questions. And based on those inputs, based on inputs from the principals, we made different types of reports. And analyzing that, we landed to this type of format. So I request you all to um, take up this torch and go forward. And our target is 2030, and we have to implement this, and there shall be a visible difference. जो जो डिफरेंस है वो दिखना चाहिए, सेंस होना चाहिए, सिर्फ चर्चा का विषय नहीं होना चाहिए कि डिफरेंस दिखेगा या दिख रहा है नहीं. वो एक्चुअली दैट शुड बी विजिबल. दैट इज व्हाट वी एक्सपेक्ट फ्रॉम दी with the implementation of this MSc and subsequent curriculum. Once again, welcome to you and thank you for joining here for this session. Over to Mohan Joshi. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your views. Now I request President of Board of Ayurveda, Dr. V.S. Prasad, sir, to give the overview on this curriculum.
Namaskar. Good afternoon to all of you. Anyway, this is a post-lunch session. Some of you may be drowsy also. I hope all the subject experts will keep you active. Anyway, I must thank our Honorable Chairman, Vaidya Jain Dev Pujari ji, for whose insight and visionary thinking brought over the curriculum in the new form. It is his ideas to bring out competency-based or outcome-based curriculum in Ayurveda education. In fact, as he told, he went for a survey and the feedback was very amazing, or the student feedback. Even they told, even teachers has been trained. They are feeling that one. This all indicates how much we have to think a lot. And even when, in my experience also, whenever I take a feedback, always they tell, we want more practical classes. That was the thing. The same thing, take an example. Now in this curriculum, we modified lecture to non-lecture hours into 1:2 ratio. It is 1 hour you teach and 2 hours you go for activity-based learning, practical more experience. That was the main thing. And also chairman is focusing 2030. And now, if some of you may be knowing, Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi ji, he is focusing on heal by India, heal in India. Here, heal by India means our professionals, healthcare professionals are going to abroad and doing healthcare services there. Heal India means patients are coming to India and getting treatment here from the overseas countries. That means he is aiming at the globe, where Ayurveda can become the global leader. India can become the global leader through Ayurveda. That's what his main aim. In this context, we have a huge role. As government is focusing that Ayurveda have potentiality, it can go to the globe and provide healthcare services to the entire globe. Then it is our duty to prepare our people to suit the global requirement. So that is a huge opportunity is there. Now we need to realize the seriousness of the issue and we have to prepare for it. We have done our job. And I have to thank Dr. Mohan Joshi also. Extensive work he did that work to bring out this form. And in fact, when our chairman wanted to bring in this curriculum, he don't have the resource person. Then he has to train them. He hired a resource person from outside. That is in the medical education technology. Who are all medical education technologists? They were being hired, and our people have been trained. Then by using our people expertise, then the curriculum was been prepared. It is a huge exercise. He could able to do it that way. This present curriculum has been taken a shape after several revisions and several efforts has been taken up. And at the end, when I joined, also I gone through it. My main challenge was to avoid repetitions. A lot of repetition was there. Every subject people want to retain the subject they want. So then it is a big problem. Again, many times the same content repeat in the second year also, third year also. So it is a big headache. Then somehow we could able to minimize the repetitions to the maximum extent. And now it is your role to decide what to teach, how much to give importance on. Though we have clearly specified which topic has to be taught in which term, what are the teaching methods, what are the assessment methods, everything has been described very clearly that one. Your job is very easy. Only thing you need to adopt those technologies those methods, those techniques, and we have to prepare our content, our examples, our methods, our the activity-based learnings. You have to frame those ones. So then you'll be a good teacher, you'll succeed a good teacher. So you to have to have a huge role in playing, you implementing this curriculum. Unless previously what is happening, there's only just content is there. How to teach is left to the teachers. There is no clear description is not there. Grossly hours were described here. When to teach, whole 1.5 year, you can teach at any time. There is no specification. Now we have made a very clear structure. This is first term, second term, third term, or even when to assess, how to assess, what is the method to be used for assessment also. They have been very clearly spelled out in the curriculum. There's advantage for you people. And also we want to have evaluation continuously, that one, not after 1.5 year only assessment is done there where students cannot perform well. So at every periodically there is assessment is there. So structured assessment also there where students get assessed by periodically, so that we can have a continuity in education. We can ensure that one. That is the main purpose here. This all being be dealt in detail by subject coordinators anyway. And what my always request to teachers is, because you are the teachers, you will be in touch with the students. We can do anything on the paper or instructions, but ultimately you are there in the classroom with the teacher, with the students. So whatever you're going to deliver it, that makes a difference there. So now you need to understand our objectivity, and that implement in your teaching content, your teaching technology, your teaching methodology, so that our students are tomorrow's healthcare professionals of global healthcare professionals. So that should be your aim, that one. How we have to prepare. So either the teaching content is helpful to prepare our people to that level as a good clinicians and to suit the global requirement. This should be kept in your mind, and we have to prepare your contents and deliver the contents and train our people accordingly. Then only we can fulfill our objective, our India's objective also we can fulfill that one. And when you teach the Kriya is a very, very important subject, as our chairman also mentioned that one. So you are going to bridge up the Rognidana and then the Kai Chikitsa there. It's very, very important. Always you have to think how I can help the Rognidana people to understand is their subject. So whatever the content I am teaching, is it going to help for them? In what way I have to teach, in what way I have to modify, so that Rognidana can be easily taught for the people there. That way you have to link, because without linking, it is of no use, medical science. So till now, anatomy, physiology, there are no much linking. Even anatomy and physiology, I always tell both has to talk together. There should be dialogue between both the departments. If you start cardiac system, anatomy should start the cardiac system over there. Similarly, so both go hand in hand. Then only student have comprehension. Otherwise, you start respiratory system, they start cardiac system. Otherwise, sometimes theory cardiac system, the practical will be respiratory system, the dissection will be on myology, and their teacher will be an embryology. You can see the students how they can comprehend that. So we need to understand. Let us have a debate between the dialogue between both the departments, start together, make a plan appropriately, and go to the hand in hand where students have very clear understanding, and we can save a lot of time by using the integrated system is there. So that way, I always request discussion between the departments to bring out a uniform modular teaching. One module can be done. Then you can have a very clear cut. This is what I am always want to say. And again, timetables. We need to have dynamic timetable. We have tuned for 9 to 10 one subject, 10 to 11 one subject, 11 to 1 practicals, then again 2 to 3 some subject. It was our trend, general trend. But when you have activity-based learning, this system will not function, because you want to have some activity. It may require 6 hours. Your timetables facilitate 6 hours of practical only. So you should have a dynamic timetable. You should not have fixed timetable for whole 1 year. Every day will be a unique timetable. Today start 9 o'clock and up to 11 o'clock is practical, and 12 to 1 is the theory, and again afternoon maybe practical. Tomorrow will be 9 to 11, maybe 9 to 11, maybe or 9 to 1 maybe the practical only, 2 to 3 maybe theory class. Likewise, every day you can have to modify. You need not have fixed pattern there. As per the requirement of the content, teaching content, you should modify the timetable. We should be thinking of in that angle for the dynamic timetable. For all these ones, I always tell you have to unlearn first and then relearn. So whatever you already knowing, you try to forget those, unlearn, and then try to learn new things, new methodologies, and then develop it. Then only you'll be able to achieve this objective. So you need to practice that one, unlearn and relearn. That is very, very important there. So try to understand the undergraduation is focusing on the clinician levels. We want to produce a general practitioner by UG. We don't want any experts in that one. We are main focus is on the clinician. We want to produce clinicians there. We don't want a very deep theories in that one. How we have to produce them as a clinician, that should be our aim. Which aspect has to be taught more? Which aspect has to be minimized there? As a teacher, you have to judge it. The content, what I'm going to tell, is it required for his clinical practice or not? That you have to think of delivering. Because you might have done research in one area. You are expert in that. You can take 10 classes, but UG level is not useful there. So you need to minimize that expertise you keep for the higher level, PG level, etc. But here UG level, what is expected to learn by them, that identify, then teach it. Fortunately, we have now the NCS and the curriculum has identified competency also, how to deliver it, how to assess it. Everything has been very clearly defined. It is your duty to acquire that syllabus, acquire the curriculum, and then adopt the dynamic timetable system there, and having the coordination between the departments, then bringing out the very good effective curriculum and teaching content is the most important. Even for assessment point of view also. Earlier, the randomly being taken question papers. Now we have framed the blueprint of the question paper also. Which topic has to be taught to be important, must to know. That taken maximum questions. Desirable to know how much to be given, nice to know how much to be given. We have very, very clearly specified from which topic, how many marks is going to come. These are being spelled out very, very clear. So that when you have given weightage, student will focus on that one. Ultimately, they'll learn that one also. So that is the purpose we have made that one. And assessment methods, we have to give a lot of importance. As earlier, we used to do that one. Go and write a cheat there, to assess your prakriti or something else, assess Sara, Doshuddhi Lakshana, giving cheats, and they are going and writing. It is not a no difference between theory and practical examination. Practical means assessment of skills. Every test of the practical exam should have some skill component there. I hate giving writing examination the practical cells. Leave the writing type of these ones. Assess the skills there, then give the marks there. They have to perform. It should be a perform-based examination. Assessment of the skills, so clinical skills or whatever skills are there. So that way, you have to focus on practical examination also, not simply giving the cheats to the student to write something else. These have to be adopted there. So these are the few of the insights which really I am going to want to discuss with you people. Ultimately, the teachers are there. They'll be specifically talking to you which content, what way you have to go in and teaching all these ones. Another interesting is we have brought edutainment here. That means entertainment and education. There is a very, very wonderful activity where students will involve in the play and learn. Just like a small kids, how they learn with the playing. Likewise, we can bring into the sense of humor in the classroom. It can be a very lively learning experience for the students. At the lifetime, they won't forget also. So that we can think of several activities in the entertainment activities, and we can club the education and entertainment. The stress relief will be there, and there will be freely enjoyable class will be there. There will be memorable teaching will be there, memorable learning experience will be there. They can benefit of the teaching is all this one. They can be good doctors also. So this is what at the this juncture. And also I am going to develop one feedback system, permanent feedback system. As and when you taught the after completion of your teaching, then immediately you might have felt this content should be having different way, different methodology. Then immediately you can send the feedback to us. So that when otherwise we may forget later on when we want to ask it, that time we forget it. So I am developed that one, and also I nominate some coordinators who people can ask constantly if all any problem arises in implementing the curriculum, that can be done it. I'll be making that arrangement. Shortly I will inform that one. From the commission we will do that one. And once again I congratulate all the staff also for joining this program, and then with a short notice, and also your commitment showing, because I have received the flow of the appreciation letters, communication regarding the syllabus and the MSc also. I must thank all of you for your appreciation of this one, and also I feel that everybody is accepting the curriculum very well and eager to implement also, and then 100% objectivity and follow the instructions and do it well. Let us, our Ayurveda people, become global doctors, and let us, our science will grow a mainstream. It is all with your hands there. With this brief, I conclude. Thank you all for hearing. And next, I think Dr. Joshi will continue that. Dr. Joshi.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So, with this overview on the curriculum, sir has shared many things. So, we are really fortunate to have Dr. Devpujari sir as chairman, who has taken this initiative and vision, and Prasad sir to complement with his vast experience in education experimentations. So, sir, here I would like to thank on behalf of the team all this team of experts and coordinators, facilitators for giving us opportunity to be the part of this team and actually be the taking efforts to make this happen. That though sir has this vision has of converting it, it was really efforting task that was done by the committee of say 50 or supported by say again 10 people. And even in the pandemic era with a virtual mode, we can achieve this target. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman, sir. And thank you, President, sir. So today we are starting with this session, and this session it's for the Kriya Sharir curriculum. So this Kriya Sharir curriculum is one of the most important subject in first BAMS program. And for this today's session, we have the session schedule is already conveyed. It's a short introduction from my side about this user manual. So this user manual you must have gone through, and this is the actual document which will help you to understand the further tables which are in the Kriya Sharir curriculum. So I will take this opportunity to again go through this curriculum document, how to read, how to decode, how to understand this document for benefit of everyone. After that, the chairman of this committee for online this curriculum drafting committee, Dr. Kalpana Sathe, she will introduce this Kriya Sharir curriculum, actual initial process, distribution of syllabus and all. And then TL methods related to Kriya Sharir will be explained by Dr. Kishore Patwardhan. And assessment is one of the most important component, which is added, explored, further classified in formative, summative, will be explored and explained by Dr. Kiran Taulare. So with this, we are starting this first session. So this is the tagline that is adopted for this first, that this curriculum process, Shastram Jyoti Prakashartham, Darshanam Buddhiratmanaha, Tabhyam Vishakshuyuktabhyam Chikitsan Naparadhyati. So very aptly, Council has adopted this tagline for curriculum change. This is the National Commission of Indian System of Medicine, which came into existence 21/9/2020, and these are the actually defined targets, which is on their website. You can visit. So before going ahead and start, the program that we have is BAMS or Ayurvedacharya. When the student is going to complete this program, he will be graduate in Ayurveda. So what is the role of a graduate Ayurveda? What are the responsibilities? What role he plays? So when it was, then comes this thinking that there is a MSc, minimum standard of education, that came in existence. As per the MSc, this curriculum should be aligned with the outcomes that we expect. So we expect our graduates to be clinicians, because that is the first, as a healthcare professional, that is the first and the foremost target. Second, then we think that with further liking, he may go to the research area. Even for when he comes to the post-graduation, he can go to academics as well as research, can become clinician. Even the surgical branches are open after the post-graduation. He may go to the pharma industry, or he may come up with his own unit even after the graduation and even after post-graduation. And there are many opportunities as a graduate and as a healthcare graduate, they exist. So these are probably the roles our graduate, we are thinking that they may be doing, and we have to equip them. We have to empower them with the help of appropriate curriculum. So basically what is important is these are the graduate attributes, and our program outcomes should fit according to these graduate attributes. And based on that, there will be courses. So we were discussing about the subjects, but now we have retermed them as courses. In this outcome based curriculum, graduate attributes which we are going to see are matched with the program outcomes. So program is again Ayurvedacharya. After completion of Ayurvedacharya, what we expect in a graduate, that will be enlisted, and that is enlisted, and it is as a program learning outcome. For that, there are preclinical, paraclinical, and clinical phases. And in preclinical, there are 5 courses. So 5 courses have their own objectives, outcomes. So based on that, these course learning outcomes are designed, and we are going to see in each course. So for Kriya, ma'am will explain us. So graduate attributes, when we go to our Samhitas, what are attributes? Are the qualities, Vaidya Guna. So when we go to Charak Samhita, Sushrut Samhita, Ashtang Hridaya, we can find plenty of references. Almost all the adhyayas, there are few dedicated adhyayas and few other adhyayas. At the end of adhyaya, there will be at least 1 or 2 words which will emphasize on qualities of Vaidya. So vai pranabhisara uchyate. So that way pranabhisara Vaidya, Chikitsadhikrita Purush, Chikitsa Prabhrutiyam. So these many concepts, they were compiled from Samhitas, and based on that, expert committee decided these are the graduate outcomes for this particular BAMS program. So here you can see these are the graduate outcomes in Sanskrit as well as translated in English. To the nearest translation, in bracket, there is added with Bhavet, etc. That means these are the expectation of completion. The student should acquire these skills. So basically qualities, good and should acquire is explained here. I will just go through the Sanskrit text. Swasthaturiyoho krute hetulinga aushadhatmakasya trisutratmakasya ayurvedasya jnata. So this is covering the for understanding the further subjects. So this is how it is linked. Karma kushala jita hastacha, probably the surgical skill. Vidnyata shasita yokta chikitsa prabhuta prana visarasya bhavet. So Vidnyata shasita yokta, these are the 3 important qualities. Again, chikitsa prabhuta, well equipped, and prana visara, the lifesaver. These are also clubbed together. Daksha shuchi sadrutta shila karunavancha bhutva vartit. So this is virtuous, agile, ethical, so compassionate. These are important actually observable attributes in a graduate or a healthcare professional. They are also enlisted. Satatadhyayana paraha. So satatadhyayanam vadaha, we have seen this is the most important quality of a individual explained. So that is also taken. Sushtu sambhakshana kshamaha, communication, the most important skill. We have many opportunities to communicate with patient, families, peers. So that is also taken. Chikitsaka, Anveshaka, Adhyapaka, Gunanam, Jnata, Abhikankshanascha. The one who knows qualities of a good clinician, good researcher, good academician, and desires to become one. So these are the actual attributes that we want to see in our graduate. And for that, appropriately, accordingly, similar kind of program learning outcomes, they are explained. I'm just going through the last one. Demonstrate an understanding and qualities of the required skills as practitioner, researcher, academician, and an aspiration to become one. So these are matched. So in the last line, you can see GA8 to GA9, they are matched to PO1 to PO9. So after going through this, we are coming to the user manual. So user manual, I just want to take a quick feedback from the participant. Go to your reaction session, and can you just raise or just show the thumb that you have seen this, you have gone through this? Only 20, only 30. $40, $50, $100. Okay, thank you. So I'm sure everybody must have visited this. And if you haven't visited this, do visit this. Almost all the things that I'm going to explain are covered here. And once again, as per the previous session, I would like to request everyone, do not scribble on this screen. Okay. So whenever you will visit this manual, the first is tagline, then NCISM logo, and then covers the QR code. So QR code is specially designed so that it will be easy to distribute, to download these curriculum files anytime. So this is the new initiative by NCISM. Summary page. So this is a summary page. It includes 2 papers. First table will explain the number of papers, number of teaching hours, non-teaching hours, distribution of total hours, so summation of it. And second part, it covers the paper 1, paper 2 marks distribution, and then electives, if any. There is no elective for in Kriya, but elective, if any, it is explained, and number of theory, practical, total marks, and total marks, they are matched. So here we take the opportunity to explain few terms like curriculum. Curriculum is a entire process. It's not syllabus. Syllabus can be a part of curriculum. It's a list only. But curriculum will include everything from graduate attributes to assessment and completion, complete approach. So now you might have heard that this is a continuous process and how it started appropriately with the survey and will end in the feedback. So entire loop of this curriculum development is taken care by NCISM, this new NCISM, and will continuous process. So henceforth, we can see this actual research-based or data-based development in this curriculum. So graduate attributes we have seen for Ayurveda, program learning outcomes. So this is a simple 8 to 10 lines that we are going to read. We have gone through, and based on that, similar to these program learning outcomes, we have course learning outcomes. So these are the courses for Kriya Sharir, AYUGKS Kriya Sharir, in bracket human physiology is the actually short code and the name of the subject. So here we go with first table for Kriya Sharir. Ma'am will explain course learning outcomes matched with the program learning outcomes that we are going to see afterwards. So course learning outcomes actually help the student or anyone who reads them that after completion of this Kriya Sharir first year, what we expect from the student. So when we have a defined list of what are our course learning outcomes, it is easy to analyze at the end of the course that whether the objectives or outcomes are matched. These outcomes are linked to the objectives, and they are also given in the table number 3. We are going to see that. So this is the table number 2. It is the actually list of topic. So initially we have that 1-page list called as syllabus. So if we want to find syllabus, come to this table A2. This is the list of topics. But here is one more advantage. It is distributed in which term it should be taught in B2. Then how much is the weightage for that in C2, and number of lecture hours that we need to take for this in D2 and E2 non-lecture hours. So going ahead with this, lecture hours, we know we are doing lectures regularly, but here expectations are it should be a interactive lecture with audiovisual aids, with multiple opportunities of interactions with the students, and even we can have a mixed lecture, non-lecture approach also. So here, activity-based learning, we can bring out the activities, plan the activities within the session. We know that learning time span is approximately not more than 30-35 minutes. So unless we have an activity in between, we will not grab the attention back, and there will not be much learning further. So learning curve will go down. So to keep it maintained, we have to have this kind of activities. So going through lectures, they should be interactive lectures and non-lecture activities. Actually, this is the new 1:2 with a higher ratio. Why? Look at this table and you will realize, you might have seen this, presented this by learning. There is 10%, listening 20%, looking and seeing 30%, seeing and hearing 50%. And above 70, there is only involve me, doing by myself, learning by doing. So these all activity-based approaches are most important. Student learns by these activities, and there will be maximum retention due to these activities. So activities are more, we are directly related to the communication, healthcare department, and delivering the services to the society. So unless we have the real understanding of what we want to do, it is difficult to deliver. So best way to learn this is by doing it. So practical approach is increased by the council in this particular new curriculum. So there are many activities. If I keep on reading, only next 40 minutes, I'll keep on reading the various activities. Some of them, non-lecture activities, are included as TL methods in your table, next table. And some of them Dr. Patwardhan will convey after Dr. Sathe ma'am's lecture. So non-lecture activity, here is the principle. There are three types of learner: kinesthetic, first auditory learner, visual learner, kinesthetic learner. Auditory, those who listen and remember; visual, those who see and remember; and kinesthetic, unless they do something, they will not remember. So retention span is listed here 5%, and gradually it goes on. Kinesthetic activities will provide at least more than 50% retention in the of the knowledge, and they will again develop the skills and build the confidence in the student to do the things. So this is the third table. It is similar in all the curriculum files. Table numbers A3 to Z3, they are also similar. A3 is course outcome. So we have seen, we are going to see the course outcomes for Kriya. Whenever you will go to this third table, try to find this B3, learning objective. So for every topic, there are learning objectives. They may be 1, 2, 3, 4, or up to 10, 20, but they are again divided as per the domains in C3. And for them, in A3, you can see this course outcomes. So they are linked to one course outcome. Suppose there are 10 outcomes, one of the outcome or more than one outcome it is fulfilling. So it is a complete process that from graduate attributes, everything, why we are teaching, why this topic, and how it will be beneficial, everything is linked. So this is a better approach to explain why we have included this topic and why not. You may have realized, noticed, find out that few of the topics which were very near or close to your heart as a teacher, they have suddenly vanished from the topic list. Okay, but there is the reason that is actually explained by Prasad sir, that it was a repetition. So Nirukti, Vyutpatti kind of part that is included in Sanskrit. I'm sure you must have visited Sanskrit syllabus. Otherwise, do visit it. Then Padartha Vijnana, we have many things common like Siddhantas. The first point, it is also reflecting there. So it is also shrunken, shared. So core subject to teach the Siddhanta is Padartha Vijnana, so it is shifted there. So there may be few points which were similar in Rachana and Kriya. You may realize, notice, and this will bring out the opportunities for the interaction. The last column, Z3. So C3 is domain. We are trained in education technology or health sciences education technology. So we know these domains of learning. There are basically three domains: cognitive, psychomotor, and affective. And there are levels of this domain. So based on that, every objective is explained as per the domain as well as subdomain. Then, though people debate whether there should be anything like must know, nice to know, desirable to know, but we have to consider the level, the learning objectives of the student, and based on that, yes, we have to classify this as must know, nice to know, and desirable to know. And in every class, everywhere, there are three types of student: average student, better student, and excellent student. So when we think of excellent student, there should be some more opportunities for them here. So based on that, few points for must know, few points for desirable to know, and few points for nice to know are added. So probably the higher achievers can go for these nice to know points and they can complete. They may be activities, they may be learning opportunities, they may be the project works. So this is how they will also benefit. So for every person, every individual, there should be something considering the approach, they are added here specifically. Some of the topics considering UG and PG, we have to classify. Though sir said that there is no demarcation right now, but soon, whatever for the UG we have fixed, and based on that, the developed part can be for the PG. Next is the level. Whenever we think, so it depends on the Miller's pyramid of actually assessment, clinical assessment. But here it can be applied anywhere. So based on that, know how, shows how, and does. These are the levels which are applied. Know is related to cognitive. Know how is also cognitive, but higher cognitive. And shows how and does. These are the actually comes to the psychomotor. Sometimes shows how comes to the very higher level of cognitive for some of the skills. Does rarely applicable, but for short experiment, if we have a limited target, it is applicable, and it is included at very few positions or occasions. Next comes the TL method, assessment method, formative assessment, summative, types of assessment, term wise classification and integration. These are the further 1, 2, 3, 4 points. The TL methods will be explained by Kishore sir. So these are listed here. Few of them are included in Kriya Sharir. There is a much elaborated list which is available in the table number 5, non-lecture activities. There you can see. So we can take the student up to the simulations, role plays, self-directed learning. So to manage the time, we need self-directed learning. So few of the points which are nice to know, which few students may like to read, or say e-learning portals, MOOCs, they are also included here in the some of the curriculum parts. So that they will be accessible to the students. Assessment, this part will be explained by Kiran sir. So there are in-class activities, formative in-class activities where we can give feedback, and summative at the end activities. So there can be many like roles, quiz, puzzles, word clouds, game-based learning. So edutainment approach. So though we are going for assessment, but it should not create a burden, and otherwise it will not be a fair assessment. So edutainment approach in the assessment will provide much good opportunities for students as well as the teachers to interact and create a good learning environment in our classrooms. So going ahead with this, learning objectives, fourth table, learning objectives for practical table is similar, where A, B, C, D, E level, then TL methods, assessment method, formative, summative, which type, and integration. So integration, I will suggest that few of the topics are left for the integration. It may be the horizontal, like Sanhita or Rachana department, or it may be the vertical, like Nidan or Chikitsa department. You can have these opportunities within the college, and there will be a good interaction between the across the departments. Fifth number table is non-lecture activities. So these are the non-lecture activities and total activities needed to complete the curriculum. They are explained here. Sixth number table is completely dedicated to assessment part, where A table explains the number of papers, theory papers, whether there is Viva, for how much marks, electives. There are electives for 3 subjects, not for Kriya and Rachana. So as it is not there, internal assessment is for 30 marks. So scheme of assessment, 3 periodic assessment and term test. So these are the two new terms introduced for formative assessment. Periodic assessment is a very easy kind of assessment where no declaration of assessment is required. Even a small topic, even a MCQ, even an online test, any kind of explanation or examination given in column G3 can be considered for this periodic assessment. Otherwise, in the next table will explain you more about these activities. So this 6D table you can visit, or this table 3 column G you can visit. In many activities based on the objective of that particular topic, they are explained. You can explore through them and conduct the 3 periodic assessment, very small test, and 1 term test. Term test, that is a term end, what we call, and it will include everything. A similar exam to university exam like MCQ, SAQ, LAQ for 100 marks, and practical for Kriya, as it is applicable, 1 practical of 100 marks. So we have to conduct a 200 marks exam and convert the marks to 30 marks, and then we have to add here. How to do that calculation? The table is 6C. You can follow this table and keep on performing. Why? Because this is a continuous assessment. Unless we keep on assessing student continuously, they will not be the part of this process. Initially, it may look a burden, but there is no need to declare the timetable so that they will bunk the initial 7 days, after 7 days. After the just lecture, you can conduct this 15 marks exam. If you want, you can conduct more exam and average them and keep it here for 15 marks. So may not be 3. If you have 9 topics, you can go for 9 exams, but it is recommended that don't follow one pattern for all the examination. Suppose don't go for MCQs for all examination. There should be MCQ, there should be some others. So there are many opportunities to assess student. Even we are conducting debates or interactive activities, those can be graded, and for every student it can be marked. It can be a recitation session. So recitation, we can give the marks to the recitation and they can be clubbed and added and converted to 15 marks here. So there are many opportunities for this periodic assessment and even the term test. Only 2 term tests will be conducted. For 3rd term, there is no term test. There will be direct university test. How? Table is explained. So table number 6D, it will give you the list. 6E. So this is the distribution of marks as per the theory paper. For Kriya, there will be 2 papers. Multiple choice question, 20 marks, 1 mark for 1 mark each, 20 questions, 20 marks. Short answer, 8 questions for 5 marks each, that is 40 marks. And LAQ, 4 questions for 10 marks each, that is 40 marks. In the next table, you can find all questions are compulsory. Here also written instruction, all questions are compulsory. So council has decided there will not be any options. So how to distribute it, on which portion there will be question, is explained in the further table, distribution of theory examination. For each topic that is listed in table 2, this is similar to the table 2. List of topics is similar. Term-wise distribution is similar. Marks almost remains the same. Sometimes they are clubbed for the clarification. MCQ, whether we can ask MCQ, SAQ and LAQ is explained here with the term yes. And if it is no, we should not ask SAQ or LAQ on that portion. So this will give the clarity for setting of the paper. So in Kriya, ma'am, Kiran sir will explore more that in the first paper and second paper, there is a difference between the distribution of marks for Ayurveda, that is Kriya Sharir, and physiology, that is the modern part of it. So 60-40 ratio is maintained throughout the question paper with 2 LAQs and sometimes 3 LAQs for 1 or more subject. So details will Kiran sir will explain. This is how the blueprinting is clearly done, and you must have visited. There may be the discussions. If you have any suggestions about this, you can just write to council, to President sir, and you can just write a mail and convey it to President sir. They will be rectified in the newer version. So distribution of practical marks, it is given here. Right now, till now, there was no clear specification what should be asked for simple distribution like spot. But here now we have a bit clarity that how to distribute them, and heading wise, Viva, then internal assessment, elective, detailed explanation is given. Implementation. Now, as a teacher, what is expected that we can refer to this table number 1, then table number 2, choose a topic, then go to table number 3, just note down what are the objectives that we need to cover, appropriate method, choose the appropriate domain, consider the domain. For there are methods to teach as per the domain. If it is skill, we have a different method. If it is a cognitive part, we have a different method. Affective part, then we have a different method to actually do it in the class. There may be different ways to assess it. Based on that, think the appropriate aviates, resources, team. Most of the times when we are doing activities, it is difficult to do it at our own. So we want a team. Unless we come together, it is not possible to conduct the activities for a class of say 60, 80, 100. and 125. So we have to have our team ready, resources ready, planning ready. It takes great effort. All our experienced teachers I can see. So you know how much efforts we put to organize a seminar or a workshop and planning it thoroughly. So similar kind of planning is required to conduct a short-term activity within that 1 hour or 2 hour and giving the equal learning experience to all the teachers. Based on that, plan appropriately, and after planning, implement it. There may be your experiences, note down whatever you feel this time was inadequate, we require more time for some topics. This is more time, we required less time. Do write down the notifications in a column, same on the syllabus copy itself. After completion of the year, you can suggest it, because sir has decided there will be a continuous feedback and continuous development in this curriculum projects. So this is a shared temporary learning plan for you. You can take help. There are many. So these committees are already explained. You must have visited these committees and names of the committees. Then QR code, if you want to download, it is also explained here. With this short introduction, I will take you to, I'm stopping my sharing, and now we will continue with description of Sharir Kriya related part. So may I request Dr. Kalpana Sathe ma'am to, ma'am, are you here?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Are you sharing?
Yes, I'm sharing my screen.
You are already co-host, I hope, so you can share.
Okay. Is my slide visible?
Yes, ma'am. It will be better if you go full screen.
Okay. Now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So, respected chairperson, NCA ISM, respected President Sir Dr. Prasad Sir of Ayurveda NCA ISM, and Dr. Mohan Joshi, my team members. There were almost 10 members and 2 facilitators in my team, and dear colleagues. So first of all, I would like to congratulate the chairperson of NCISM and the president Ayurveda and the whole team to publish their effectively publish their efforts in the form of this new curriculum and new syllabus of first year BMS, and especially Kriya Sharir curriculum. So, and so by this, I would like to go for the theme of Kriya Sharir syllabus, because there was a specific thought behind this reforming our course structure, and it is in front of you now how it is framed. So, hello, excuse me.
We can hear you, ma'am. Please continue.
Sir, मेरा presentation गया है.
You can reshare, ma'am.
Okay. Is my slide visible?
No, ma'am, not yet.
No. Now?
They are coming. Yes, ma'am, they are visible now.
Okay. Thank you.
Continue.
So,
Ma'am, it's a mute all mode. So if anything happens, I will interrupt in between.
okay.
Otherwise, you can continue.
Okay, thank you. So, respecting our standardized student learning outcomes, that is also called as course outcome, we have designed this syllabus up to date and up to the mark. We have mapped the contents matching the learning abilities of the students. Therefore, we can objectify the each and every point of the syllabus, and the syllabus is enacted with SLO, that is called a specific learning objective. Means till now what we have done, we have only point out the points of the syllabus, enlist the syllabus points, and we have not clarified that what we have to learn, what we have to teach, and by which method we have to teach, what specific assignments should be given to the students regarding skill-based learning. This my previous speaker, Dr. Mohan Joshi, and our chairperson also have, and Dr. Prasad sir, President Ayurveda, has also said that now this will be a skill-based learning to match our program outcomes. So what we have to do, we have to create a practitioner, a doctor, a teacher, a researcher, an academician, or an entrepreneur, and all that. You know? So for that, our subject is a basic subject of Ayurveda, and by which we can prepare a good clinician, a good doctor, and good academician also. So we have focused more on their communication skills, writing skills also we have focused, and the communication should be a comprehensively enabled, and reciting Ayurveda verses should be there for the specific section to remember this. What happens? The students are from the background of modern teaching methodologies or modern sciences come to us after passing 12th. So I always say our students that you are now in the primary of Ayurveda, primary class of Ayurveda, KG1, KG2. If you don't understand, no problem, just mug it. And then gradually you can learn what you have taught. When you, automation is always there, अपने आप आपको आ जाएगा सब कुछ. So bus recitation is most important. That section has also could be covered in non-lectures compartment. Then modern physiology is also included in 60-40 ratio, 60% Ayurveda and 40% modern physiology. We also focused on analysis and evaluation of public health-based outcomes. So, see, our science is the first preventive science, Swasthasya Swasthya Rakshanam. So, in Kriya Share, there are many subjects. You all know that the Prakriti, Sara, Agni, Kosht, and all the Shvit Pariksha comes under us. So, these are for the assessment of the healthy condition and the disease condition. These all the Shvit Pariksha must be learned by the student, and application in the public should be done by them. So it should be reached to our stakeholders, the patient, the public. Our students should work in public common man, so that they will also learn the basic precautionary measures of our healthiness and lifestyle disorders, for the lifestyle disorders, and they can contribute to promote health in their family also. So these are some thought behind forming the Kriya Share syllabus, and also advanced learning topics are all included. And with the help of seminars, workshop, tutorials, we can discuss these advanced topics with the students and our peer colleagues. So next, there are some one-time short forms in our syllabus used. It is already discussed by Dr. Mohan Joshi sir. Must know, nice to know, desirable to know levels. And teaching learning methods means not only the teaching method, it is learning centric method. So students are our center, आत्मा है, हम ऐसा हमेशा कहते हैं. तो we have to focus learners, उनकी क्या जरूरतें हैं ये हमको देखना चाहिए. और उस तरह से हमें लर्निंग जो प्रोसेस है वो फॉर्म करना चाहिए. तो लेक्चर शुड बी इंटरैक्टिव. जब नॉन लेक्चर्स आते हैं उसमें तो एक्टिविटीज होती हैं. देयर आर मेनी एक्टिविटीज डिस्क्राइब बाय डॉक्टर मोहन जोशी, बट इन लेक्चर्स दैट शुड बी इंटरैक्टिव. And we can do discussions in non-lectures, small group discussions. There are many types of discussions in teaching learning method. Dr. Kishore Patwardhan will discuss about that. Then we can then assign them many projects, some research project, some problem-based assignments, some journal writing, some formatting new protocols. We can involve them in our and we can also learn with them. So many new ideas are always in new generation, with the new generation, and we can learn from them, and we can do progress of our science, and basically Kriya Sharir science, which will create a base to for the Rog Nidan and Chikitsa Shastra. So like that, some written and viva will also there. And this SAQ, LAQ, what is that? Dr. Kiran Tavlare will explain you. Some assessment tool means the assessment methods are described in that. Okay. So again, skill assessment means clinics, practical skill lab. You can use the skill labs or yoga or practical labs, or you can use clinics. You can do Prakriti Parikshan in your department or in your practical lab for normal individuals. You have to press theoretical part, then practical part, and then experience on normal individuals, and then you may take your students to OPD or IPD for the Prakriti Parikshan. There is no OPD for Prakriti in Kriya Sharir Mind Well. So this is only for the teaching purpose, for remember our program outcome. They should learn the Prakriti and Vikruti, difference between the Prakriti and Vikruti. That's why this effort has been taken, and early exposure to the clinics is always welcome, because ultimately they have to go to the clinic and they have to interact with the patients and their relatives. For that, this early exposure is of clinic of Prakriti, Agni, Koshtha assessment, Sara assessment is given the task. So like that, bedside clinic on patients or outpatients. And OSPI is objective structured practical examination that Dr. Kiran Tavlare will explain more. Then formative or summative assessment means the internal assessment and the university assessment, and self-assessment is also there. Okay. So instructions regarding Kriya Sharir curriculum for teachers and students are given on summary page. It is given on the first page that department must conduct classes of 1 hour each for both the theory papers, paper 1 and paper 2, 100 hours per paper. Total 200 hours will be there, and out of that 100 hours, 75 hours will be utilized to conduct the non-teaching classes for each paper. That means, for teaching purposes, and 25 for non-teaching purposes. Means they can be utilized for student seminar, problem-based learning, group discussions, self-directed learning, field-based learning, tutorials, etc. So you can also add your own methods or tools for the non-learning lectures. So also the specific learning objectives, what we have written there, what we have concluded, these are the minimum standards of learning. You can also modify them, but if time permits, you can modify them for PG courses. Okay. Then this is, you know that 60% Ayurveda part is included and 40% modern physiology topics are included in the syllabus. So total 150 lectures and 50 non-lectures. Total 200 lectures will be there for theory, and total hours of practical classes will be 200, and all 200 will be non-lectures that will be utilized for conducting lab experiments, bedside demonstrations, skill-based learning, and student seminar, PBL, group discussions, workshops, etc. Or for integrated learning also. Out of this, 60% classes of practical will be allotted to Ayurveda, and 40% classes will be allotted to the modern physiology. So total 200 plus 50, 250 non-lectures hours for practicals. So in total marks allotted, as described by Mohan Joshi sir, theory classes, theory 200 plus practical 200, 400 marks are allotted to our Kriya Sharir subject. Out of that, practical of 100 marks and 70 marks for Viva and 30 marks for internal assessment, like that. Okay. So again, some instructions are given regarding higher health sciences, education, technology for teachers and students both. Because this is activity based learning, and this activity based learning could not be one way. It will be always a teamwork, and with the help of other teachers and students. You have to involve the technique, forming the techniques and some formats. You have to involve the students also in that. So they are always enthusiastic, and they will also help you in typing and in animations, and some ideas they have in their mind. You catch it and you go ahead. So every teachers must follow and design specific learning objectives, which we have written there, but you can modify them. For each task in all three domains, Bloom taxonomy, Dr. Kishore Patwardhan will explain you how to utilize them. So the teacher should use the instructional techniques like role play, video show, movies, simulation, and animations, jigsaw puzzles, assignment in class also, and in practicals also, and in non-lectures also. You can use other small group learning techniques. So teachers should be conducted horizontal and vertical integration. Horizontal integration in first year subjects, or in other subjects of modern medical sciences. You can include in the horizontal integrated learning. Then the vertical integration means you have to include other classes, second year, third year, fourth year, final year, or there will be a 1.5 year course now. There will be 3 terms. So first year, second year, and third year, I think so. Then there are some other activities like journal clubs, workshop, motivational programs, guest lectures. So all these are indicated as per the topic in the list of table 3. So some topics are also suggested for seminar, workshops. You can follow these guidelines, or you can frame your own topics for workshops and seminar. But you have to communicate it to the NCIM members. That's what you have done. So all the time we have to put our efforts. We have to work very hard. No doubt, but this will be an enjoyable teaching and learning together. We also learn from this new technique, and we will enjoy, and automatically we will follow those steps, and you can see the change. See, this is a magic triangle. Learning objectives are also called as outcomes, and when we apply any learning objective based on some learning method, or we use some tool, and then we can assess them, and the outcome can be seen, and then from that outcome we can if we are satisfied, no problem. But if we are not satisfied or we want to advance it, we can always modify the specific learning objective. This is how it goes. That is what our chairman said, that it is they will help you in those format formings. So and we are also there. We can now CCM1s have with RAV and with All India Institute of Ayurveda, and it is necessary also to continue the skills, enhance this talk in Hindi or English. So or when it comes to giving answer to any peer or any experience in front of any experienced learner, you have to talk in Ayurvedic terminology only. Do modern science people practice layman's language? No. So why we should also memorize and use the Sanskrit terms or the Ayurvedic terms in our day-to-day conversation in Ayurveda. So like that, instructions regarding assessment. So many assessment, this instruction is already given by Dr. Mohan.
Ma'am, Kiran will cover this.
Kiran will cover this. Okay.
Yes.
So this is.
Can we go to Kiran,
course.
Kishore sir?
Course objectives. Should we explain that?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is based on program objectives or graduate attributes. There are we form human physiology and biochemistry related to the organ system. You can read this. This is also given in our book, Professional Ayurveda BMS curriculum, Kriya Sharir. Okay. So no need to explain this. Mind well, we have to create a Kriya Sharir student to interact with the patient, to interact with the stakeholders, and to prepare our student for to be a good clinician, to be a good academician, like that. For Rog Nidan and Chikitsa, to understand Rog Nidan and Chikitsa, we have to prepare our Kriya Sharir student. So these are the contents, of course, Kriya Sharir. So part 1, there is a part A of 60 marks.